Lawmakers call for the resignation of a ranking member of the House Energy and Commerce Committee. Kevin Costner updates Congress on his oil separator machine, and the Interior Department blasts its MMS unit and its investigation practices.
From the Energy News Center in Washington, D.C., this is the Energy Report with Susan McGinnis.
Good afternoon, I'm Susan McGinnis. Thanks for joining us for the Energy Report. Lawmakers are calling for Congressman Joe Barton to step down from his House Energy and Commerce Committee leadership post after calling the Oil Spill Compensation Fund a $20 billion shakedown. That happened today as BP CEO Tony Hayward sat through more than an hour of criticism from Democrats and Republicans, faulting him and his company for its negligence leading up to the Deepwater Horizon spill. But not all committee members felt that way. In his opening remarks, Barton apologized to the BP chief, saying he was ashamed of the White House.
I think it is a tragedy of the first proportion that a private corporation can be subjected to what I would characterize as a shakedown, in this case a $20 billion shakedown, with the Attorney General of the United States, who is legitimately conducting a criminal investigation and has every right to do so to protect the interests of the American people, participating in what amounts to a $20 billion slush fund that's unprecedented in our nation's history, that's got no legal standing, and which sets, I think, a terrible precedent for the future.
White House Press Secretary Robert Gibbs fired back a statement following Barton's comments. He says what is shameful is that Joe Barton seems to have more concern for big corporations that caused this disaster. Congressman Barton may think that a fund to compensate these Americans is a tragedy, but most Americans know that the real tragedy is what the men and women of the Gulf Coast are going through right now. Even Barton's fellow Republicans are distancing themselves from him. Jeff Miller of Florida says Barton should step down as the panel's ranking member. Later in the hearing, Barton tried to back off his remarks, saying he wanted the record to show that he thought BP was responsible for the spill, and he did apologize to people in the Gulf Coast region. Well, Kevin Costner was back on Capitol Hill as well, testifying on how his company's oil separator machine is now helping the cleanup in the Gulf. He told members of the Senate Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee BP executives called him 2 days ago to say that his high-speed centrifuge machines are working. BP ordered 32 of the machines from Costner's company called Ocean Therapy Solutions. Costner said he is proud his technology can be used to help the cleanup, but it's not a Hollywood ending. He pleaded with government officials to have better emergency plans in place before deepwater drilling starts again.
What I would beg the leaders in this country and the oil industry together would be, before you lift the moratorium, before you do that, to please have cleanup technology in place, or at least on a way in a specific time that's designed to meet and match with full force the worst case scenario that can be presented to us.
Meanwhile, the rig drilling the relief well meant to stop the oil leak may be ahead of schedule. Coast Guard Admiral Thad Allen says that a drill from a rig near the ruptured well should come within 10 feet of the existing well over the next few weeks. The drill bit then will bore down about 1,000 feet to intersect with the damaged well. The drilling was originally slated for completion in mid-August. Once the drill reaches its target, BP will pump heavy mud down the relief well in an attempt to stop the flow. The top inspector at the Interior Department says the agency that oversees U.S. offshore drilling does not have the tools to do its job. Acting Inspector General Mary Kendall told the House Natural Resources Committee today the Minerals Management Service can't properly investigate the Horizon oil spill because it has only 5 paragraphs of guidelines for a post-accident investigation. She calls the Coast Guard process of gathering information through public hearings backwards. But she says the MMS has even deeper problems.
We learned recently that MMS has a dearth of regulations governing their inspection program. Anecdotally, we have also learned that MMS inspectors, at least in the Gulf of Mexico region, operate relatively independently, with little direction as to what must be inspected or how. This is not the least of the inspectors' challenges, however. We have been told that MMS has approximately 60 inspectors for the Gulf of Mexico region to cover nearly 4,000 facilities. This is juxtaposed with the Pacific Coast, which has 10 inspectors for 23 facilities.
Kendall also says MMS has trouble recruiting inspectors because they can't earn as much as they do in private industry, and their training materials are out of date. The White House is splitting up the MMS into 3 separate agencies to oversee leasing, royalty collection, and regulation. Former Justice Department Inspector General Michael Bromwich has been nominated to oversee that shakeup. 16 people are dead and dozens more trapped in a Colombian coal mine following an explosion last night. President Alvaro Uribe says it looks like a buildup of methane gas caused the blast in the San Fernando mine. Officials say the explosion collapsed part of an access tunnel. The director of Colombia's State Mining Institute, Mario Balestero, said the mine passed a routine annual safety check just last month. At least 9 workers were killed in the same mine last August. The Army Corps of Engineers has suspended use of its nationwide Permit 21 in the Appalachia region because of concerns over water quality. The permit allows coal mines to impact nearby waterways without the heavier scrutiny of an individual permit. The move comes as the administration is increasing oversight of mining in the area. During the suspension, surface mines in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, and Virginia that require discharging fill material into streams and watersheds will have to get individual permits to do so. That's the Energy Report. We'll see you again tomorrow with your latest energy news. For any suggestions or comments about our programming on Clean Skies News, you can email us at contact@cleanskies.com. You can also follow us on Twitter and Facebook. From all of us here in the Energy News Center, have a great day.